Hi everyone, my name is Tatanka Rizvanovich.
I'm Lily Hines.
Rosanna Almateri.
And together we watched the documentary titled The Social Dilemma. It's a Netflix documentary that includes interviews from former Silicon Valley tech developers and some media scholars that informs us about the dangers of technology and social media, but especially in the context of mental health, setting unrealistic standards of beauty, the spread of misinformation and fake news, and how it's influenced human interaction as a whole. The documentary also showcases how the relationships of a fictional family are disrupted by social media and technology. Overall, this documentary was received relatively well by both viewers and critics, although some criticized the lack of inclusivity in the cast and the minimal discussion surrounding how social media perpetuates systemic oppression. One of the main aspects of the film that stood out to me is how technology and social media have changed the way that we interact as a society. Specifically, they have significantly reduced the amount of genuine human connection people have in real life, and because of the addictiveness of social media, apps are designed to keep you on your devices and communicating to others that way. So, this lack of in person connection between humans has conditioned people to adopt a mentality where they can perceive themselves as detached from the content and the people they engage with online. So, this can be problematic because then people may not feel the need to consider the consequences of their actions and how they'll impact other people, ultimately leading to an environment that has hindered our ability to empathize with others. Social media has the power to spread false information on such a large scale, and when considering how it has fostered a culture that frequently fails to empathize, this dangerously perpetuates pre-existing societal and cultural divides. For instance, the Rohingya genocide was largely impacted by social media because harmful propaganda about the Muslim Rohingyas rapidly spread on Facebook, and given that the manipulative algorithms that are present on Facebook make it more difficult for people to connect on a deeper level and create echo chambers of people who think alike, this led to more division amongst the Rakhine Buddhist and Rohingya Muslim population of Myanmar and culminated into a brutal genocide of the Rohingyas. So, the pattern of misleading information leading to prejudice and oppression and violence that motivated the Rohingya genocide was also demonstrated in the novel Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, because this creature was othered by everyone around him solely due to people making assumptions. Political polarization is also a consequence of social media's influence that ties into how willing people are to listen to each other before jumping to conclusions. So, social media algorithms favor the extremes of political perspectives because they tend to be the most profitable for advertisers, which means that social media has become a tool for promoting division among society. So, this is concerning when we recognize that anyone can contribute to discourse online regardless of intention and biases, which has resulted in social media frequently being used as a means to spread misinformation and disinformation. This is also discussed in Isaac Asimov's I, Robot in the chapter Evidence, because accusations without evidence surrounding technology and robots influence the public perception of the election. As stated, quote, the fundamentalists required no new reason to detest robots and robot manufacturers, but a new reason, such as the Quinn accusation, was sufficient to make such detestation audible, unquote, which highlights that technology and, in a modern context, social media and fake news all have the power to perpetuate polarization in ways that could potentially be damaging to democracy. One of the main details that stood out to me as incongruent with the rest of the commentary about political polarization was the use of the Black Lives Matter symbol on a sign that said, "Don't vote." And this imagery was concerning to me because it equates Black Lives Matter to extreme political polarization, which is far from its actual application within the racial justice movement. And I also found that this example demonstrates that there was racial insensitivity in the making of this documentary because it misrepresents the Black Lives Matter movement, in addition to barely touching on how racism infiltrates social media, despite being a key concern that's outlined in the Center of Humane Technology's website. And ironically enough, that's one of the main interviewees, Tristan Harris's. He's the co-founder of that organization.
One main issue that I noticed in the film was the increase in false news. The spread of fake news occurs 6 times faster than the truth. It spreads quickly because people like novelty information, and unfortunately, the truth isn't as interesting as fake news. This leaves the truth at a great disadvantage because almost all of the information on social media is false. Society has fallen victim to fake news because most people don't research claims made on social media. This exacerbates the fake news issue because people share information that hasn't been investigated or researched. An example of this occurring was in 2016, a website was created to look like abcnews.com in order to publish false claims about President Obama. The claims were that President Obama banned reciting the Pledge of Allegiance in schools. The journalist Craig Silverman stated that the Obama hoax generated more than 2.1 million shares, comments, and reactions on Facebook in just 2 months. Earlier in class, we watched Coded Bias, which discussed AIs and how they are used to target women and racial minorities. AIs are also used to target society as a whole in social media. The purpose of AIs in social media is to predict the actions of individuals, and this allows social media platforms to provide information that aligns with people's values. This creates a false sense of common value because people think that everyone is receiving the same information. In reality, we are further from a common value because social media is preventing social progression. People are receiving information that aligns with their own values and opinions, and when someone disagrees with that opinion, the response is to think that they are dumb, which I think is less human. The spread of false news on social media is increasing the gap in social unity. One final thing that should be taken into consideration is how advancements in technology will influence false news on social media. People are not able to alter videos and deceive people on the internet. How would this affect our society in the long run, and how would this alter our humanness? Overall, the spread of false news makes society less capital H human because it's destructive and society isn't progressing. Some regulations should be put on social media platforms to protect society from dangers like false news.
The documentary have also talked about the unrealistic standards that social media make or already made to people. Social media have made many standards, including beauty, body image, or shape, and even wealth. People started to have less or completely lose their self-esteem, and all of that is because of social media standards. If you are not thin, then you are not beautiful enough. If your house was not furnished from that expensive place, then you are not good enough. If you do not buy your clothes from LV or Gucci, then you are not good enough. If your face does not look like that, the standards that social media already made, then you're not beautiful enough. In order to be accepted in society and in real life, you have to change and do surgery or have surgeries. And this is unrealistic. These standards are not just in social media. They started to be spreaded into real life. So we have here, according to two writers, in order to be accepted in society, females have to battle body image issues from very young age, where thin is considered to be the ideal body type. Thank you.